So you're telling me it's just impossible to say no to all those quick wins right here, right now, in a pursuit of a longer term passion and fulfillment and really lifelong success? Well, let's roll on Nutcessity's nourishing nuggets, which will help you out with this.
Hello,
Hi.
how's it going?
Oh, I'm good. How are you?
I'm well. Yeah.
First time actually on video rather than just chatting on text or voice.
First time for everything. It's today.
I know. Nice to connect with you anyway. Would you like to introduce everyone who hasn't come across you before? Who is Mike
Yeah, Mike Duckworth. That's my name.
Duckworth?
Yeah, like I used to get called Ducky when I was at school. Hasn't happened for a while. Anyway, yeah, I've got a nut butter company called Nutcessity. I like cricket. I like running. I'm pretty like meticulous, organised, sort of quite a boring person generally. I would probably say.
Who defines boring? Boring in comparison to who? Like if you're living a life that feels good for you, then that's not really boring feeling, is it?
It's a fair point because I wouldn't call anyone else boring, but I
Yeah.
I don't go drinking a lot.
If that's the criteria for being unboring, then I'm boring too because I haven't drank in like 10 years. Honestly, you don't need drink to have a party, right?
No, I know. Scratch that. I think what I probably should have said is quiet and
Okay.
keep to myself generally.
But you keep
yeah,
me happy. And I appreciate you coming on to talk to me today, especially if you consider yourself quite quiet. But I mean, I guess with having a nut butter brand, I see you're always out and about sort of sharing your product with businesses and, letting them try your things and always launching into new places. So you must be quite good at connecting generally.
yeah, like I think there's a big difference for me personally between work and social. I don't know. I've always been like that. Like I've always had a really kind of whenever I've been working, I've been very difficult to socialize with. Like I kind of think of work as
Do you
like I
mean
need
it's
to
like
get this done.
two personas in that you're
Yeah.
one mic at work and you can be like really social, and then in your free time you're like, okay, I need to hibernate now.
Yeah, exactly. I quite like my own company, which I think probably a lot of people out there do as well. But
I do
certainly
too, to be fair.
where I need to be on my own. Yeah, I think I've always been like that. Like at uni, I'd always sort of be quite different when I met up with people out and about, and that's that. I'm comfortable in my own skin. That's how I am.
Yeah, I do feel also like I can relate to a lot of what you're saying, and that I have felt very alienated and that I am different to the people I'm around, just in many ways. And I guess there comes a lot with that, feeling like you don't fit in, and sort of how much it grows your strength as a person to be, well, you've done something that, I mean, the majority of people don't do, try and fail at. You've been coming up to next month will be your 5 years in business. Like that is an absolutely remarkable achievement.
Amy, you've done your research. Yeah.
Have I? Or did I just know that because we've been chatting for all these?
Maybe you just knew that in your head. Yeah, it is. Yeah, which is quite mad actually.
You've been so busy that you hadn't even realised that you were coming up to 5 years?
No, I kind of like knew. I mean, I know when it gets to August, that's like I suppose anniversary time, but nothing happens. I just sort of think, oh, okay, it's 5 years, and then carry on.
Celebrate! Excuse me,
yeah.
Nothing happens. You need to do something. I'll be celebrating for you if you're not celebrating. Was there a date in particular?
The 2nd of August. That's basically the date that I incorporated the company, which I did.
I feel like the day warrants like something around nut butter, whether I take on a challenge to consume a whole jar in a day, or just pour it over me or something and bath in the glory. Like, I mean, there needs to be some. Over 5 years, we made it. Because, I mean, what are the percentages of businesses who are still trading 5 years later? It's very little, and like 80% fail in the first year. So,
and I think everyone who starts a business has different sort of understanding of what the business is for and how long it's going to run for, and like where they want to get to. For me, like when I started, I kind of just started out of I felt like a real itch. I didn't say to myself, oh, like I really want to get to 3 years, 5 years. I just never ever thought that way. As I don't really feel that way now. Like I don't feel like I will have.
You're not driven by the longevity of your company. Is it just like
no, not really.
For it? And see, I know that you did start because there was is this the main reason? Because there was a gap in the market. You're allergic to peanuts, so you wanted something that nut butter that you could have that would be delicious. Was that the main number one driver behind starting?
Yeah, I mean, there's so many reasons, but yeah, like the first kind of reason behind it really was my allergy to peanuts, and then coming back from Australia and New York and America, finding that actually back in the UK, selection we had a few years ago, especially, was just like really quite poor. There wasn't really a lot going on for nut butter addicts like me and you. So yeah, that had to change, and it is changing. There's not just my own company, but loads of other nut butter companies I'm sure you're aware of who are popping up and kind of making it more of a thing. Like it's definitely more of a thing. But even like, my grandma sort of is like, oh, nut butter, yeah. Like it's something that everyone kind of understands now.
Yeah.
But a few years ago, it really wasn't. As well, like the passion for it comes down to partly the whole sugar thing as well. Like there's probably 70% of people who make toast in the morning will basically spread sugar on their toast, and that's fine. And I do that now and again. Well, like jam, like Nutella, like
they're starting their day like on a pure sugar rush.
And like all well and good. Like I'm not saying it's
we're not judging people for their decision.
Yeah, not judging, but it's if you do that like every day, obviously that has does have a long-term effect. So
it does affect you for the whole day as well. If that's how you're starting your day, that you will have then the crash because it goes up and it must come down. So I do know what you mean, in that there's so many more benefits that you're aware of that would really positively impact someone's health by spreading some of your nut butter on their toast. So I know why you're drawing that comparison there. Yeah, and it kind of just comes back to what kind of came out of university, because I was doing a business course, and I remember like I had sounds really sad, I had like a notepad page on my desktop that had like little kind of mantras that I would try and like think of in my head quite a lot. This is not sad. Positive affirmations. I'm all about this. I literally live the quote life. I'm stationary all the way. So no, this is not uncool.
The thing about mine was they were kind of not the kind of ones that you'd normally see like on an Instagram feed, if that makes sense. They were a little bit.
They were meaningful to you though, like deep, and you felt a calling to them.
Yeah, they would only make sense to me actually. Like if I tattooed with one of them on my hand, no one else would understand what it was.
Yeah.
But one of them kind of stemmed from the word Kaizen, and that's kind of taught in business school as this way Japanese culture society works, which is all about continuous improvement.
I love that.
Continuous improvement. So that kind of stuck with me, and that got me thinking about how do I make decisions, and how do I learn from those decisions, like whether or not they were good ones or bad ones. And it kind of all stems towards what's better for me and the people around me long term versus short term. And that's kind of like a massive thing that's always in my head. Every decision you make in your life, there's always a question of like, what is it better for me to do this or to do this, and like which is helping me more for longevity purposes.
Yeah, because I can imagine being in a business of your caliber, you have many decisions to make every day, and you are the critic then of whether that was a good or a bad decision, and you have to deal with the repercussions of each of those decisions. So that it is really important for you then to be like, have a strong why instilled within you, to be always having that in mind, thinking of the long-term success. But I think that comes down to a lot of willpower. Because if you think about it, people like, just an easy example that most people relate to would be, having the like binging or something, for example, on drink or just rubbish that will just make them feel all happy and elated now, but then that long term, if that keeps going on, it's not really good for your health and well-being overall.
Yeah, that's it. I think there's so many products out there.
A lot of competition.
Yeah.
I was actually wondering, did you ever go into the corporate world, or from uni did you go traveling and then straight into making your business? Because I was wondering, was the reason that you got into business because you didn't feel like you were fitting in with people around you, so you didn't want to go into that like office job scenario, you wanted to be your own boss?
Yeah, I think there's a lot of truth to that. I never really felt like I fitted in at school.
That was just me thinking of that. Like, I was just wondering, off the top of my head, like, it was
like
that.
I didn't feel like I fitted in at school, and then I went to college, so I didn't go to sixth form. So I left school, went to college, didn't really felt like I fitted in there. Then I had a gap year. Was like, so the first time I sort of went outside of Europe, and that completely changed my life.
Yeah. Really just opened your eyes and broadened your horizons, like exploring this world, meeting new cultures and immersing yourself in that. It's remarkable.
Yeah, just from like obviously a lot of amazing memories and photos and all that sort of stuff, but just like so much personal development, like way more in my gap year than I had
through uni, probably.
I reckon in the last 3 years of school.
Yeah.
I mean, I remember when I was working in a chippy after school in like summer holidays, and my boss said to me, because he ran the business, he said to me, like, if you're thinking of going to business school, I would say you need to not do that. He told me not to do that, and he told me to run the company. He told me to become the manager
of his chip shop.
Yeah, because he had a bit of a bad back, and he said, like, you're doing really well here, like, can you run the place and not go to uni, basically. And I kind of wish I'd taken him up on that, but
no way.
Yeah, it's weird, like
but no, like, chippy, would you, is that like something that you would be passionate about? Like, it sounds to me, I mean, would you have turned it into like a different kind of, like an organic vegan chippy or something?
Well, back then, like, I hadn't made any sort of choices on plant-based and stuff.
Oh, so you used to be very different of a person back then.
Yeah. So this was a decade ago.
You've taken a very different life path from then, let's be honest.
Yeah, it's a bit of sliding doors moment, I guess. But it would have been like amazing experience to run a chippy. Like it was quite like a restaurant rather than a kind of like.
Okay, it wasn't just like a takeaway.
Yeah, that's like one of those like moments where I just think, I don't know. If someone said to me now, who's like a 16-year-old, said like, would you recommend I go to uni or just go straight into work? I'd say, like, just think about it. Don't just follow what everyone else does.
Yeah.
Don't just go to uni because you're kind of supposed to. Because that's just not thinking for yourself. I think there's a part of me which thinks, well, I didn't really think for myself. And I don't... People ask me all the time whether or not my business degree is helping me with running my business. Not really.
Yeah.
Not really.
I do find a lot of people say that because... like your lecturers, I've seen, the lecturers that are teaching you the business information, none of them have or have ever ran their own businesses. So you're literally just learning this textbook information that really, you're only actually going to get the experience through doing and learning and feeling in your business. So it's like, it does sound like totally counterproductive, but it's just what everyone does and what is expected. So I've been to uni to do a psychology degree. I absolutely loved every minute of it. I really immersed myself in that. I love learning. and just, went all in for it, and, found it so beneficial in so many ways. But I would never like say to anyone like, oh, 100%, like you need to go to uni. Like it's really not the be all and end all. And I'm out here, I'm not exactly using too many other things. I'm not specifically just using my psychology degree in what I'm doing every day.
Yeah, and I think there's at the point of like, well, is uni more beneficial for the education side or just for like the life side? There's that question as well. So I kind of would say that it's the life side, actual education side, but it kind of depends on what degree you're doing, I suppose. What I probably needed was just like a sort of year sort of finance course that get me like up to scratch with the finance part, but everything else is just, you just learn as you go. You just kind of make decisions based on what people tell you and what information is online and your gut instinct and all that sort of stuff.
Literally just like a wee fish just trying to stay afloat and just try and make the best decisions that you can in that time. And would you have any sort of tips for others in general for sacrificing the short term for really thinking about long term? Like, do you have any sort of practices or things that you do that help you really do that?
Nothing complicated. I mean, I think when everyone makes decisions, they probably have their own way of making that decision. It might just be like more people probably rely on their gut feeling. Some people probably like ask around. Some people just make the decision on their own. Sometimes what I do is just kind of think like, what would this person do? Which I think is quite a common one as well. But then the other one is just like, if you're going to make a decision on, I don't know, where to eat at a restaurant or life plans, like relationship plans, am I going to buy a house now?
Yeah, they're all different sort of levels of impact, I guess.
But at any level, I think, like at any kind of importance level, and like this is going to change my life level, or just like, do I want a Coke or a water? And still think in terms of, like what's better for me. It kind of depends on what you want as well out of life, I think. Like if you're really hedonistic and you just want to live life to the full every day, then cool by me. I mean, kudos, like good on you, absolutely. I've kind of got this thing, I'd quite like to live quite a long time. I'd quite like to spend as much time as I can on the planet and to see as many countries as I can.
Yeah.
So I try and make decisions that kind of help me live a kind of healthy sort of life.
I think it's quite funny that longevity would be a big thing for you personally, but that it's not actually a big thing in your business. You're not really motivated by the business longevity, but for you, like that's quite interesting.
Let me clarify though. So like with the business,
I'm sure I'm not saying like you're not motivated by the longevity, like you'd be okay if it went bust, but that's not the main driver.
I don't measure like my business success by how long it's around.
No.
It's more important like, well, how many people has it positively impacted? Like, am I giving, like, am I supporting charities? Am I getting good reviews? Are people actually liking the products? Which retailers am I in partnership with? Like, how is that going? Am I enjoying that relationship? Am I making money? Like, am I actually turning a profit? Like, it doesn't really matter how long the business is around.
No, there are much more meaningful reasons though to be in business, and you can tell like that you have really such a kind and caring cause behind Nutcessity, and I feel like that's also why I wanted you to share, because a lot of people just go into business for like profit or whatever, but that like just getting big and growing like isn't really a big thing to you. So like that just shows your love for what it is.
Yeah, because I think it's what you value, isn't it? It's like I value my freedom really highly.
Yeah.
Like I can do what I want completely.
Yeah, like you can choose.
You can't put a price on that.
It's life on your terms. I do think that's quite incomparable. That would you say that would be a reason you would encourage people to, if they would want to start a business, would you say like, yeah, go for it because like it's life on your terms? obviously there's a lot of like disadvantages and struggles that come with that,
Yeah.
but it's worth the gains are more than the drawbacks.
Yeah, I think the biggest question would be like, are you very, very comfortable with uncertainty? Because if you're very comfortable with uncertainty, then it's probably would suit you. Obviously, you need like a good idea and like, you know, some startup capital, and there's, I mean, a lot of kind of disciplines I think you need. Not that I'm an expert by any means, I'm still learning very much, but I think if you're kind of the kind of person who likes to know what's coming in to your bank account every month, and you know, wants to know that you can go out on a Friday night, or wants to know, you know, you're going to be available to go. It's just very like hard to plan.
Yeah, that's definitely not guaranteed. That was actually the post I wrote on Instagram yesterday, funny enough, that like one of the big things I've learned this year is being okay and comfortable with just not having everything figured out, because nobody does. Nobody ever feels like they have like, you're literally learning and every day. And I think that's so beautiful, you know, to just be, we'll just go with it and see what happens. What is the worst that can happen? And that feels pretty good. And I'm like in peace and serenity over here, you know, where I'm not like feeling so anxious all day, every day. And surely that's something we should all be striving towards, like that freedom and just being.
Yeah, I've realized I just contradicted myself a minute ago. So I was talking about freedom and then how you need to be comfortable, like not being able to go out on a Friday night. But anyway, yeah, there's a kind of,
no, but that it's still free. Like that's still your freedom, because you're not wanting to go out on a Friday night. I think you drew that example because like there may be some people that want to go out and party on Friday nights, but it's not you, and like you're just living your best life, doing whatever you want to do.
Yeah, I mean, like there's times when, you know, like I've wanted to see a friend and I just haven't been able to because I've got stuff I need to do. So that's kind of the example. But I think one of the things that's really healthy to do as well is like when you've got a day off or half day off or even just a couple of hours off, it's just literally not even think. Just let the day kind of
stare at a wall
in direction whatever way you want to go. So I think that's the best way to relax. I'm very much learning about how to relax because I'm not very good at it. But like instead of just being like, right, I've got free time, let's watch TV, it can be like, right, okay, I'll just sit here and just see where my thoughts take me, and like see where my feet take me. It's quite an interesting little experiment. You just kind of end up like wandering about, like doing whatever, like cleaning the windows, like
like having no plan and just being. I would say I live most days like that. I mean, I have general like structures and plans and things that I need to do every day, but around that, like I'm just so mindful, and even when it comes down to like my food decisions and what I'm doing, you know, to just like actually just go with how you feel, because you can't predict how you're going to feel in any one day, and you just really trust your intuition and like go with what feels right for you in that time. And if that comes at a later stage to, you know, be something like, you can't regret it because it's what you wanted to do and felt right for you then. And then, as you say, even the just relaxation and doing nothing, I feel like that's very sort of stigmatized, in that we should always be busy, working.
Yeah.
But, you know, what kind of life is that? We work to live.
Yeah. I think we struggle as humans to sort of comprehend the whole, because there's a bit of a balancing act between, right, life is really short, got to make the most of my time on Earth. Actually, like I do have time just to sit and read a book. Like it's not, the world isn't gonna end. Like I don't have to do work right now if I'm not feeling in the right frame of mind, or, you know, I can spend an hour in the bath. It's not gonna I enjoy that, and it means that I'm maybe more productive later. So it's really, I find that quite difficult, but I think it's, you know how quickly time is going, but at the same time you do have to slow the pace sometimes.
Because I do think a major thing about being in business is that you can literally constantly work. You know, you could easily, there's always, it's a never ending list of things that you need to do, could do, always. So it is literally, you are the controller of when you switch off.
Yeah. And you got to be comfortable being uncomfortable, which is another nice little phrase there.
Yeah.
Comfortable being uncomfortable, like quite happy with loads of stuff on your to-do list all the time.
Yeah.
Which most of us do, obviously, but like with business and deadlines and things, like you have to be comfortable prioritizing stuff and just leaving other stuff.
Yeah.
There's always stuff to do.
I think that's actually a really nice way to tie up the conversation, to be comfortable with being uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And to do that, sometimes being what's considered uncool is cool.
Yeah, and the way I'll end it is, if you're not being yourself, then that person that you meet one day who really is actually like you, they're not even going to find out what you like.
Oh, wow.
But at the same time, when you're kind of just, what I'm saying is that you have to be yourself, because that way you're going to meet people you really like, and you might like find, you know, people don't like you on the way, or you don't like them, but I think that's just part of being who you are. So I think you have to absorb like people who maybe don't get along with you and don't like you for who you are, to reach the people who you're actually going to get along with. Otherwise, they're not going to love you.
Rather than trying to blend in with the crowd, did you get this? You know, the way you blend the nuts for the nut butter? I'm trying to like make it into a reference for the nut butter. Yeah, rather than trying to blend in with the crowd, it's okay to be a nutter.
Yeah. You got to be a nutter. You got to do your thing.
Love it. Do you want to tell everyone where they can find you? You know, obviously they need to buy your nut butter, but I'm guessing just website and Instagram.
Yeah, so Nutcessity on Instagram. There's a link to my website there in my bio. 10% off your first order as well. So if you sign up to the email campaigns at the bottom. I've not done this for a marketing plug. I've just had a nice chat with you. So yeah, thank you for having me on.
I sort of repped, I think I've repped you enough. I mean, I don't really think you need to, you know, cheer for your company, because I am here to say this is hella good nut butter, and I've tried it a lot, and I have brought you on to this because I'm like, you know, this is some magic. As you know, I've released my book, Magic Monthly Moments. You did contribute a recipe with, I think, your gingerbread nut butter, and all the different flavor combinations that you have, like they're magic in your mouth. So I mean, it is a perfect thing. So I would recommend personally anyone to try it, obviously, but I mean, everyone can make that decision for themselves if they want to deprive themselves from glory.
Take care. Bye. Oh, thanks, Amy.
No problem. But here, I really, really appreciate your time, and I hope you have a fantastic weekend, and chat to you very soon.
Cheers, Amy. Pleasure. Yeah, chat to you soon.
Thank you so much. Enjoy.
And I really hope you enjoyed joining us for another Time to Thrive live episode, and that you gained all the wisdom that you needed to help you make better decisions in the future. To make sure you don't miss future episodes, which I know you won't want to, make sure to hit that subscribe button, leave the video a little like, and sure, drop us a comment. How are you with making decisions? If you want to connect more, you can find me over on Instagram at Surviving Now Thriving. And until next time, I will love you and leave you.